On day 27, my doctor looked at my blood pressure reading, looked at me, and said, "What on earth have you been doing?" My numbers had dropped so dramatically, he thought his machine was broken. But here's the thing. 3 months ago, I could barely climb a flight of stairs without feeling dizzy. I was on 2 medications, and honestly, I was scared. Then I decided to do something that seemed almost too simple to work. I ate 1 beetroot every single day for 30 days. And what happened? Well, you need to hear this story. My name is Robert. I'm 68 years old, and this is what happened when I turned my kitchen purple for a month. Let me take you back to where this all started. It was a Tuesday morning in June. I remember because it was trash day, and I was dragging the bin to the curb, something I've done 1,000 times. But halfway down the driveway, I had to stop. My heart was pounding in my ears, my vision got spotty, and I genuinely thought, this is it. This is how it ends, over a garbage can. I made it back inside, sat on the couch, didn't tell my wife, Barbara, because, well, you know how it is. We don't want to worry anyone. But I was worried. I was 68 years old, and my body was betraying me. The next week, I went to Dr. Martinez for my regular checkup, and that's when I got the numbers. Blood pressure, 158/96. He said, "Robert, we need to increase your medication. This is pre-hypertension territory, bordering on stage 2. Another pill. That would make 3 daily medications." I sat there thinking, is this just my life now? More pills every year until... I didn't finish that thought. But then something happened that changed everything. And I know this sounds like one of those internet miracle stories, but I promise you, this is just what happened to me. 2 days after that doctor's appointment, I was at my daughter Amy's house for dinner. She's very into health stuff, smoothies, yoga, the whole thing. We're sitting there eating, and she's got this bright red soup. I said, "What is that, tomato?" She laughs and says, "Dad, it's beetroot. It's amazing for blood pressure." Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a beetroot guy. Never have been. It tastes like, well, like eating dirt that's trying to be sweet. But Amy saw my face and said something that stuck with me. She said, "Dad, what if you tried it for 30 days? Just 30 days. Track everything, see what happens. You've got nothing to lose." And she was right. What did I have to lose? I was already on medication, already feeling terrible. So right there at her dinner table, I made a decision. I'd eat 1 beetroot every single day for 30 days. 1 beetroot, raw, cooked, juiced, whatever, but every day, no matter what. I took out my phone and wrote in my notes, Day 1, the beetroot experiment. I even wrote down my blood pressure that day, 158/96. I had no idea what was coming. Let me tell you about day 1. I went to the grocery store and bought 6 beetroots. The cashier looked at my purple fingers and said, "Making borscht?" I said, "No, I'm just a desperate man trying not to take more pills." She didn't know what to say to that. That first day, I roasted 1 beetroot, cut it up, and ate it with a little olive oil and salt. It was fine. Not great, but fine. Day 2, same thing. Day 3, I tried it raw in a salad. Barbara said I looked like I was chewing cardboard. Day 4, I blended it into a smoothie with apple and ginger. That was actually not bad. But here's where it gets interesting. On day 5, and I wrote this down in my notes, I woke up and realized something. I had slept through the entire night. No getting up twice to use the bathroom like usual. I thought maybe it was a coincidence, but day 6, same thing, straight through. I didn't think much of it at the time, but looking back now, that was the first sign something was changing. Week 1 wasn't glamorous, though. My fingers were stained red. I went to play cards with my buddy Jim, and he said I looked like I had committed a crime. And listen, I have to tell you about the bathroom situation. Let's just say beetroot
changes things. You'll know what I mean if you try this. It's harmless, but alarming the first time. I almost called my doctor before I Googled it and realized, oh, it's just the beetroot. I'm not dying. By day 10, something was definitely different. I was waking up earlier, not because I had to, but because I felt awake. You know that foggy feeling you have in the morning where you need coffee just to feel human? That was gone. I'd get up at 6:30 and my mind was just clear. Day 12 was when Barbara noticed. We were grocery shopping and she said, "Why are you walking so fast? Slow down." I didn't even realize I was doing it. But I wasn't out of breath. I wasn't feeling that heaviness in my chest. I was just walking normal, like I used to. That night, I told Barbara about the experiment. I showed her my notes. She got quiet for a second, and then she said, "Your face looks different." I said, "Different how?" She said, "Less gray, more alive." I went and looked in the mirror, and you know what? She was right. Day 14, 2 weeks in, I did something I probably shouldn't have done without my doctor. I took my blood pressure with the home monitor we have. I sat there, put on the cuff, hit the button, and watched the numbers. 142/88. I took it 3 more times. Same result. That was a 16-point drop in systolic and an 8-point drop in diastolic in just 2 weeks. I sat there staring at the machine thinking, this can't be right. But deep down, I knew something was happening.
Week 3 is when this whole thing became real. Day 17, I did something I hadn't done in over a year. I took the stairs at the community center instead of the elevator. 2 flights, and I got to the top without stopping, without wheezing, without feeling like my heart was going to explode. I stood there at the top and I actually laughed because I remembered that moment with the garbage can when I thought my body was done. And here I was, 3 weeks later, taking stairs like it was nothing. People started noticing, too. My neighbor Frank said, "Bob, you been working out?" I wasn't. I was just eating beetroot. My daughter called to check in and she said I sounded different on the phone, more energetic, more like my old self. But day 19 is when I experienced something I didn't expect at all. I was gardening, pulling weeds, moving pots, and I realized my hands didn't hurt. See, I've had this arthritis in my knuckles for years. Some days it's so bad I can't open a jar. But that day, no pain. I flexed my fingers, made a fist, nothing. I didn't know if it was related to the beetroot. I didn't know if it was just a good day. But I started wondering, what else is this doing to my body that I can't see? Day 27. I had my follow-up appointment with Dr. Martinez. Barbara came with me this time. I sat in that exam room, and I'll admit, I was nervous. Because what if the home blood pressure monitor was wrong? What if this was all in my head? The nurse came in, wrapped the cuff around my arm, and took my pressure. She looked at the screen, frowned, and said, "Hold on." She took it again. Same frown. Then she said, "I'm going to get the doctor." My heart sunk. I thought, oh no, something's wrong. Barbara grabbed my hand. Dr. Martinez came in, looked at the chart, looked at me, and said, "Robert, your blood pressure is 128/82. That's nearly normal. What have you been doing?" I told him about the beetroot, every detail. He sat back and said, "Well, I'll be honest. I've read the studies about dietary nitrates and blood pressure, but I've never seen results like this from a patient just changing one thing." He looked at my chart again and said, "I'm not changing your medication yet, but if this keeps up, we might be able to reduce it." I walked out of that office and Barbara hugged me in the parking lot. She said, "I'm so proud of you." And I started crying, not because of the blood pressure, though that was amazing, but because for the first time in months, I felt like I had control over my body again, like I wasn't just waiting for things to get worse. Day 30, the final day. I ate my beetroot like I had every morning, this time in a smoothie with banana and spinach. I sat down and looked at my notes from the entire month. Here's what changed. Blood pressure started at 158/96, ended at 128/82. That's a 30-point drop in systolic, 14-point drop in diastolic. Energy. I wake up without an alarm now. I don't need a nap at 2 p.m. anymore. Sleep. I sleep through the night every night. Physical capacity. I can walk 3 miles without stopping. I take stairs. I garden for hours. Unexpected benefits. My joint pain is significantly reduced. My skin looks healthier. Barbara says I glow. My digestion is better than it's been in years. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a 68-year-old man who tried something and tracked what happened. Your results might be different. But here's what I know for sure. Food is powerful. More powerful than I ever gave it credit. Am I still eating beetroot? Absolutely. Every single day. It's part of my routine now. And honestly, I feel better at 68 than I did at 65. If you're thinking about trying this yourself, talk to your doctor first. But don't underestimate what your body can do when you give it what it needs. Thank you for listening to my story. If this helped you, or if you're going to try your own 30-day experiment, I'd love to hear about it. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.